Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to the red carpet. I think we're all here. We were, then I think, yeah, we're in. We're in. You got us? Can you hear us? You good? Yep. All right, we're in. All right, wicked. Shout out James, shout out KG, shout out Owen. 36555 Wrestle News 36555. Big up to everyone locked in, man. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you ain't done so already. Okay.
Don't worry, I'm just trying to zoom in a bit more. I'm trying to zoom in a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. There you go.
There you go. That was a zoom. That worked. Whatever you did.
Fucking hell.
Oh, it's blurry now.
It'll work out. It'll sort itself out.
Yeah.
Just swore on the first 60 seconds. So it's good for monetization, that one. You know, it's good.
Is swearing an issue for monetization?
Yeah.
I've never found this problem on my channel, but I guess I will.
What, from swearing? You just swearing out loud, it's going crazy.
I just let it go, man. I'm American.
Oh man. Not gonna lie. Straight away. Not gonna lie, Flex. I feel you were just a bit harsh on Amarim in your view, although I completely understand your points. Okay, fair play. Everyone's been having their say. We will do a little bit of that in the show today. Talk about Amarim and in the light of what happened in the aftermath of yesterday. KG, I know you've done a video on your channel as well. It seems to be like a big talking point. So we will talk about that a little bit. But to be fair, some of the news was breaking about an hour or so ago, a couple of hours ago, maybe, because Manchester United are close to an agreement with Matheus Cunha. That's according to the Daily Mail. So yes, it's all going off, KG. It's all going off. Man United are looking at sort of sealing up an agreement with Matheus Cunha, according to the Mail. So that'll be Chris Wheeler. I mean, let's open up the conversation on Cunha. Is it all just unanimous? Well, absolutely. There's not really much to discuss here. We need him. He wants us. Do it. Or has anyone got reservations over this? You lot in the comments. And of course, everyone here in the red carpet.
I've got just a couple on its own, which is, I like the passion. I like the fire. Do you think getting suspended on a couple of occasions is something that you get a lot more heat for at Manchester United than somewhere else? You got to sort that out. But I think that's something you can sort out. As a footballer, I think he's great. When United played him back in December against Wolves, I think it was, he was showing
Boxing Day
levels. That's right. He was showing levels to the team, the way he was picking up the ball, running. He looked perfect for Amarim back then. He looked perfect in that game. He was exactly the guy saying that's what you want in that 10 position, picking up the ball, running with it. He got a big wage bump from Wolves to like 150,000 a week. Is he going to ask for another one? I mean, he just got that in January. Are you thinking, hey, that's 150 that was like in preparation for your next move? That's the level you'll get. We just want to give you that a little bit early so you don't ditch us in January. Help us escape relegation. They've escaped relegation. Money well spent. Or is he going to come in now and say, well, now I want 225 because you're Manchester United? Because if you're doing that and you got a £62 million release clause and 225 a week, bin it and get Osimhen, because you're not that far off at that point. That's my only concern on that from that perspective.
That's a really good point.
This stat's crazy, yeah. And I remember someone brought this up before about the walk-in. Yeah. Lil Yo-Yo says it here. And it was true.
Was it Marcel? Who's he brought it up?
I can't remember. I saw it on social media a while ago. And they were like,
Didn't
he's got one of the stats for the most. He was like, he loves the walk-in. And it's really, really clear. We don't like Man United fan base do not like walking because they have, been absolutely ridiculous when it comes to walking with Marcus Rashford for the longest time. We become body language experts when it comes to all footballers on the pitch. So that's a concern, even though, again, it's not really, because you can fake run and make it look like you're doing effort, but you're not really not contributing effort. A little bit about the price, because is it actually written into his contract? The release clause is £62.5 million. Now, I don't know, again, how that one's going to work. If whereby they could do a thing like they did with Joshua Zirkzee last summer, where it was like, well, we could pay the release clause, but the release clause is all the money right now, or we pay a little bit more than the release clause, and then because of that, you play, you can play it in installments, that kind of thing. So I suppose that's something to look at. Like we said, I don't really have too much concern actually about the discipline stuff, really, because we've signed Mavericks in the past. You know, Eric Cantona, when he came in, didn't have the best discipline record. He didn't have the best discipline record at Man United.
I was going to say, we didn't really fix it still.
I don't have too much. If anything,
he was very good, though.
Yeah,
we need a team. We need a team full of bastards. You know, we don't have enough of them in our team. We're very weak. You know, and we need more of them. So I think it's a good option. But I suppose the problem is we're at the reality where most names that get brought up will get into our team. So we're just like, yeah, they'd improve us because everyone will improve us.
Well, you see, I was thinking when I was talking about that loss against Wolves, because obviously the L made everyone start talking about loads of stuff, right? Even though the way we lost, like, I've worked out, which shouldn't have taken this long, but when we lose, because we keep losing in this period because it's L, nobody really cares about how we lost anymore. No one really cares about the performance. No one really cares about, well, that should have been a 2-0 game. That shouldn't really. There's so many L's, they're all bundled into one. And I get it. When you've lost as many games as we have, the semantics about how they do kind of go out the window. But I was kind of on that because everyone's basically saying, you know, like, Wolves basically are, you know, Vita Pereira's going in there. Look, he's got 5 wins in a row. You know, if that was United Strand, he would have cut his hair by now. It would have been amazing. Yeah. But really, they've got some players, that like walk into our team, or players that are like really highly sought after in the Premier League. So like Nouri, like he could go play for Liverpool. Like he could go play for City, be their left back. Like he's that good. He plays for Wolves. The two in the middle that they've got in the system that they've got, Gomez and Andre, they're perfect for that. They're combative. They're good on the ball. They're quick. They're powerful. They're high volume tackle. Like they're perfect 2 pivots in what you want in this system. Strand Larsen, good centre forward, strong, holds the ball, scores goals, got double figures this year. Cunha, that's who we actually want to go and get. Do you know what I mean? Top 10 in the league. So when you break it down, they've got guys that walk into our team. You look at Palace, Mateta would improve our team, walk into it. I know there's like, do we get Mateta? I'm not sure. I get all that. But on what we've got, he'll be perfect. Eze, what we've got, he'll be perfect. Walk in, start, elevate the team to a top. Like he could go and play for Spurs. He could go play for City. He could go play for Liverpool in the tech. Like he can play at them teams, yeah? Who else? Adam Wharton, walk in like at Palace. So there's loads of players in these teams that we need to surpass, where their players would just walk into our team and not just walk in because we're rubbish. They'd actually make us better and make us a good team. So we have to be mindful of that. But so Cunha, listen, I'm all for him. I like him. I think he's strong. I think he's exactly what we need in terms of the type of player. Obviously, like we always know, every transfer is a risk. Man United, you ruin players. You say you gas them up. You say you want them. Then they come to you. Then they're rubbish. And this, that. You spent 62 million on him. He hasn't scored in however many games. All these things that why we're scared to buy players. I understand in it because our hit rate's low. But if we can get him in the left 10, right 10, perfect for me. But I do take that as I didn't really think about that, James. Like, he got the bump up to 150. What does that look like? I would like to think by this stage, we surely ain't going to be doing stupid stuff with the wages. Surely. But hey, who am I to guess that? And I get everyone's ready. Yeah, exactly. What are you saying, KG? Bring him?
Flex, do you appreciate them saying that Owen's inside a Jordan 4?
Oh, Jordan 4. They said about the
They
I saw them said he's inside
reference.
A spaceship, but a Jordan 4.
It's the UV spaceship. It's the UV spaceship. Look, it's got the UV logo.
Yeah.
I like
a Zord. I'd say he's in a Zord and that.
It's the Power Age. But I tried to sit in between this, so it looks like I'm in one of those big like Captain Kirk chairs. You know, what I mean?
I see that. I see that for sure.
Yeah, I try and that's what I try and do. You know, I don't get to use the space background all the time, so on the occasion, you know, there's a bit of difference. Man. You know, shout out Josh.
I don't get the Jordan 4 one though.
I don't know. I just thought you're a trainer, man, so I don't know. I don't know what it means, but I thought let me just ask you about it. Just on the Cunha thing, you could see when he done that grass thing that he was doing, grass all over his all over the shins and stuff like that. I don't know what ceremony that was, but he wants Man United. And I think I love that. Like, I love a player that wants to play for this club. I think that's important. We've had players that mercenaries that don't respect or don't care about us as a football team. We're lower than them. There's no reason for him to want Man United, but he kind of understands.
I forgot about that. That's mad.
Yeah, we're terrible, but then he wants Man United. You know, we're not really doing the over convince. He just understands this is a special club, and if it gets its act together, it will be you will be legendary. Now, we've said that with every single manager and player that's wanted to sign for this place, and
that's what I was going to say. Way. They all want all the shit. Anthony badly wanted to come here because it was a dream.
That's the story, right? Everyone wants to play here, and you look at the reaction of Casemiro on after the fourth goal, and he just kind of drops to his face and just lies down. But that's a guy that's achieved everything in football. This club has still got this magic to it, regardless of how we feel right now as fans. Like, it's still kind of magical, and we can use that. Like, I know the lap thing's a bit further down the line. I don't know. There might have to be some convincing there, but play for Man United, get it right, and you're a household name. It's that type of club, and maybe this guy is saying that the type of football, because they play the same system as us, right?
Yeah,
they play a similar system. Yeah, so he will fit. There's not a big change that
instant. It'd be instant. Yeah,
he would fit the system. It's like, this makes sense. I'm gonna play in a way that I don't have to do that much changing. It's a system that I like. I'll work in the system. For me, it's no-brainer-ish. He's Premier League proven. He's a bit older. I hope I'm trying to have this kind of energy with the striker that I bring in to support him. And it's like, then who's in that midfield? You kind of, when we start to have options of, let's say he's in there, is he in there with a Kobbie, with Ahmad out wide? Is that what we're gonna do? I'm interested in that kind of stuff, but it just gives us Man United with options, makes us like way more dangerous and way more unpredictable. Right now, too predictable.
His injury record's really good, actually. I didn't realize this. I was just looking at his injury record because I thought, well, you never know with us. Not that it means anything, because I was going to say we can get people that don't have a pretty good injury record, and they still. But he hasn't missed a game through injury since September of 2022. Any other games he's missed to be suspension.
That's a really good point, because they're specifically targeting players on this basis of injuries and physicality. Because one of the things that they're so unhappy with, which Sir Jim mentioned in that interview a couple of weeks ago, right, was like, all these injured players is half the wages. They're not even making it on the pitch. We're paying all these millions every week to players who can't even make it on the pitch. It's a huge part of the recruitment is getting guys who don't get hurt. And KG, you mentioned Premier League proven, and I think that that's actually one of the big mistakes we've made the last few years is not doing that, because you do take bigger risks when you buy from outside the Premier League. And it used to get talked down a lot whenever we were looking at this guy, oh, he's just if his name was whatever and he's an English player, he'd be this and that, and the only reason we like him is because it's English, and it's flipped the other way. So it's like, no, we probably should have bought a few more Premier League players. You bring in Rasmus Højlund from Italy for 72 million, you could have got a better striker from 18 teams in the Premier League, and we're seeing that. I mean, Strand Larsen has more goals than Xerxes, Garnacho, and Rasmus Højlund combined in the Premier League right now. I mean, that's the reality of it.
No, that one's crazy. You see, James, you see what Wissa and Mbeumo are doing?
Yeah.
Do you know they've
41 goals or something crazy with the front three of Brentford.
15.
Yeah.
One's got 15, one's got 17, 18 in Wissa and Mbeumo. And it's
the gap between the lower teams and us and just top Premier League sides is shortened so heavily. Look at Nottingham Forest. Look at the year Nottingham Forest are having. Yeah. The gap is not severe as it used to be. And we could just walk into these clubs and say, I'll have that. And then the player's gone. You could go to any smaller club, take their player, and there's no conversation to be had. They wanted to play for us. Now, I think the whole, the hierarchy of the Premier League is totally changed.
The gap between the sort of, like I said, the all of the clubs, maybe it's weird because there is big gaps. So obviously the three that come up are usually the three that go down now, and they're nowhere near it. They go up, they come straight back down. The team that's won it the last few years is usually quite far and away. No one can really get close to them. But then everything else in between is quite tight. It's quite tight. And all of the players could largely be could be interchanged. Like you said, you could just get players from any of the clubs, and they do well for you,
guys. We should get Mbeumo instead.
Okay.
Why are we not going all out for him?
on board with Mbeumo as you know? I would
He's
say
got a year left. They got to sell him this year. He's 25, so what's that? Same age as Cunha, isn't he? Yeah. Is Cunha 25?
Goals, 6 assists.
He's got 18 goals this year, and he's going to cost less than Cunha. Cunha's 62.5 million release clause, right? And if we want to stagger that out, we'll probably have to pay more. Mbeumo's a better deal than this.
No, but we're not. We've done the legwork already. That's the killer. The legwork.
I wouldn't say he's off the table though, but yeah.
Yeah,
we progressed.
What United talk? What you think? That's United talk. Mbeumo over Cunha laughing. Why is that funny?
Do you reckon it's a case of they think they can do the Cunha deal quicker? There is a release clause, like KG said. You've done the legwork, and Brentford do drive a hard bargain.
There's another factor here, though. You mentioned they play the same system as us, though, too. You know, like Cunha is a better fit than Mbeumo.
For what we want, Mbeumo was wide right. Yeah.
You know, he plays more wide. We've seen the difficulties like Garnacho's had as a wide winger coming in. Cunha's
but I feel like Mbeumo's got a bit more about him, though. I feel like he's very technically sound. Good. Yeah. Cunha's ready-made for the system. I agree. But I was just thinking there. I was like, hold on a minute. And he's in the last year.
To do. That's the other part of it as well. Because remember with Ivan Toney, when he had a year left on his contract, he didn't go to Saudi till like the last day of the window. And we remember hearing stuff at the time, didn't we, Flex, of being like Brentford are driving a ridiculously hard bargain, like it's putting clubs off because they're like, we don't think that's a good deal to do. That's why he didn't end up going to a Premier League club. So I wouldn't be shocked if they go, well, we know all of the different specifications for the Cunha deal that we have to do. And because it's got to be a busy summer, we just can't afford to be waiting around and getting a deal that goes right to the end of the window or anything like that. But they might be like, well, we could do this one. It might be more expensive. We can do that quicker. And we can do Cunha and Delap fairly quickly. And then also we need to look at a goalkeeper. Then also we need to look at an 8 or possibly a 6 or another 10 and a right wing back. I don't know if they necessarily want to be dwelling on a transfer for longer than necessary because they've got so much to do. Yeah,
and I like the fact that Man United are trying to get serious at this point of the window. Like we can tell that we're getting our eggs in alignment. You know, we're really trying to make sure that we're ready to kick off regardless of what happens. Because I always keep thinking of that sliding doors moment of what would this red carpet have been like had we got knocked out by Lyon?
Oh.
Or
there's
just
still time.
Just find out in 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, because if we get knocked out,
but the season's almost over, bro. Yeah. For everyone, the season is almost coming to an end. But Man United are still alive in the season as a whole, not Premier League, but the season as a whole. And I'm really thankful for that because I don't think I could manage 6 weeks of depression talk.
Look how we was in that Wolves game, the way we approached it, the way we looked at it.
It's a 4 instead.
FIFA shadows on the screen. Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, that's what it would be. That's what it'd be. Let me get these super chats out. Jay Ball says, Cunha is too petulant. Imagine when he and Bruno both lose their heads at the same time, because it will happen. Owen and KG, I can picture your crash house. Shaitania says, shifting focus for a moment. It's fortunate that the ball landed at Casemiro's feet for the cross, as I believe there's no better crosser on our team. Just look at his crosses and passes in the past few games. That's taking us back. Fair play. Yeah, you did say, shifting focus for a moment. To be fair, I hear that.
Gene.
Yeah, and actually, you're right. Because when you obviously we all watched the highlights from Thursday multiple times just before Sunday, but when you see a sequence of a goal, you just think of the goal scorer. But so much stuff happens in the goal that needed to happen. Like when Harry Amas had it, if he gets excited and just thinks, let me just cross from this position, and doesn't put his foot on the ball, come back and give it to Casemiro, the whole thing's different. Mm-hmm. Everything matters. If Casemiro does a shit jing bang cross, don't beat the first man instead of lofting it to Harry Maguire, but it just doesn't happen. It's actually true. Even that first time pass outside the boot to Kobbie that Casemiro does, if he goes, shit, I'm a bit scared, let me just take a touch and just look somewhere else, it just doesn't happen. It's mad. So yeah, shout out Casemiro, man. He really deserved his flowers. Dwayne says, I like Cunha, but I prefer Eze, not gonna lie. I'm very worried about the 9 more than the 8 and 10. I would prefer we spend on a striker that gets 20 goals plus, regardless. I mean, Eze's actually older than Cunha, isn't it? How mad is that? That doesn't seem.
And
any
more injured? Any more injury prone? Eze?
Definitely more injury prone. Definitely more injury prone. Yeah. United talks. It's time to have a discussion. Amas over Dorgu, waste of 30 million.
That's too soon. It's
too soon. But just a not about Dorgu being a waste. Wait a minute. United talk. Shane just saying time to have a discussion about Amas though. Let's just take that bit of it. We can't just disregard. Not saying Dorgu's a waste of money. We can talk about Amas. And is he, is there an opportunity?
I think we should credit Dorgu because against Sociedad, Dorgu was incredible. He won us that.
Yeah, he did.
So you can't we got to think about that. He drew a penalty, got players sent off again.
And we'll be just as quick, and we'll be just as quick to criticize Amas if he has a couple of bad games, by the way, as well. Let's not give it 2 weeks, right? If he has a stinker, he's not ready. Just like Patrick, we need another. We need to get someone in the. So we go, come on.
Yeah, because even that guy said they want 10. Remember, Eric's got a point. Eric PK.
Yeah, do you still want 10 Dorgus?
Because
I think it was James who was basically talking about.
I love the idea of it. I would absolutely.
Yeah, no,
I want a goal scorer, but yeah.
No, that sentiment was there with the fan base. Like, let's go into the market and just do that loads of times is what we're pretty much saying. And with any signing, like the greatest lesson I learned this season is you can't write off a player too early. Royal Xerxes, he's got talent. You know what I mean? And that's like, that will be a cautionary tale for a lot of young players. You never want it to be as long as like, now everyone's like, oh, Maguire's, we should have bought him. You know what I mean? Now everyone's kind of changing their tune on Maguire. You never want it to take that long, right? But like, we're seeing the value of Maguire. We're seeing.
Are we saying with Maguire? This is off topic, but so we saying with Maguire, like he has got a year left. Obviously, it's on big piece, but like because we got loads of stuff to fix, do you just let him run it out? Because we've paid the money for him already. It's like, do you just let him run the contract and leave on a free?
I don't think he's going to leave.
I think it'd be based on his health this year. I think.
Yeah.
But
it might depend on the World Cup as well.
Would you extend him? Would be a question I'd ask. Would you extend him another year after that potentially? He's still good. He's still very good. I mean, is he going to be terrible in 1 year?
No, I think you let him go on free.
If someone puts an offer in, let's be honest, if someone puts an offer in and they want to do business, then I think you let him go. Yeah. And also, like I said, it depends on the World Cup because Thomas Tuchel might have a word with him and say, look, if you're going to go to the World Cup, I need you playing most games. And if everyone's fit, Harry Maguire's likely not going to be playing against Manchester United, is he?
No.
And we might even look at
another centre-half. Do you think we'll get a centre-half this summer?
Maybe.
Heaven,
not in his position. We need a left
side.
Still.
Yeah, the centre backs. I don't know if we'll get another.
Sandro's got an ACL injury. Heaven's played one game for us. I mean, don't we need a left-sided player a bit more?
Yeah, it's true. We'll probably get and that's where the Braithwaite thing, or that kind of left-sided centre back kind of. Yeah. Anyway, there's loads we could talk about. Lil Yo-Yo says Ten Hag done more damage than good. Look at what we need to fix now since his tenure. Absolutely shocking signings, serious incompetence, and it's been further pushed as well, the damage, because obviously we changed system also on top of that. So it's like you bought us rubbish players where even if Ruben played a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, we'd be looking at Anthony going, nah, mate, or whatever. The Rashford's head's checked out, whatever. But, Garnacho will probably still be a bit wasteful. But then it's got even worse because, again, we have to change the system too. So, yeah, I hear you, Lil Yo-Yo. Dwayne says, my two most important positions I would go big for is a 9 and a keeper. Goals and clean sheets will make a big difference in this team. Build around it.
100% agreed.
KG, you're on mute.
Them draws and then 1-0. Sorry, them draws and then 1-0s.
Yeah.
Oh, man, like they're so close. Like there's some games when you're like, we were so criminal in that one. Just want us to fix that part of our game. So yeah, absolutely. And just it'll make such a difference of scoring early and shutting up shop a little bit. That would, oh my goodness, like
complete
clean
difference.
sheet, bloody hell. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's that's the only thing when you talk about getting up in the table and stuff, and trying to be a bit hopeful for next season is you hope that with the chaos of this season and players learning the system, we finally grasp it and we're ready to go with new signings next season. We're good to go. I hope that this experiment works out for the best. But there's always
a lot of it's not about the criminality, isn't it? A lot of it is about the criminality. You're right about like we could have picked up so much more points if we were either A, streetwise, or 2, efficient. Like a lot of our losses haven't been like you total buffoons. Look at you, like you know, like Newcastle home and away was that. Like look at you, that was that. You
And
know,
on the Forest one, some of that was on the manager with the selection in Newcastle. He knows he made some mistakes there, but
exactly.
then some
so you can
like you idiots.
Yeah, why have you look at you? You lot of crap. But then there's other ones where it's like, how did you not score? How did you not win that? Why did you let them back in? Why did you do that? Criminality, where it could have been another minimum 10 points. I'd say we could have got another 10 points more this season already just by like. Oh, and you're on mute as well.
Even yesterday, that game. In that game, yesterday
didn't have to be a loss, did it?
No, it could have easily been a draw. I mean, you obviously look at like the Højlund chance when he was sliding in, even the one where it came into Bruno's a bit behind him, and I don't even know if it went out for a goal kick in the end. Like we have like we have like 3 or 4 of those a game where we go like, and even if sometimes if they're not chances, the opportunity to make a chance is there. Where you go, right, now's the easy bit. Like even like Højlund yesterday with the great flick, and you go, that's the difficult thing to do. Now just do the easy pass and we're going to score. They never do that. And it's not even a thing on Rasmus because everyone does it in that team.
Exactly.
Garnacho does it. That front three are masters at doing 2/3 of the work and for some reason not being able to do the simple bit at the end. And that can equate to like, I don't know, 15 more goals a season, which can lead to however many more points.
Yeah.
And we don't do it. You know?
That's what we're saying. Decision making alone can get us double figures points extra. Just decision making. Just when you get in that moment, take your time and make sure you're efficient. That's just before you even talk about better quality player and the manager being better. So we don't necessarily have to, you know, mash up every team next year and outplay everyone and be on the front. If we just are a little bit more clinical, ready, that will be a massive improvement as a base level. Leo says, if Mbeumo and Cunha equals Garnacho goes, would you do it? Of course, definitely, yes.
Do it just for one.
yeah. And actually, Garnacho, listen, last couple of games, he's actually laid on some good chances and he's actually done okay, to be fair to him. But yeah, I still hold that sentiment. JP87 says, big up the panel. Big up to you as well, JP. Always here. Dwayne says, Maguire's going to pull at Evans and chill on low wages. Yeah. But he won't get a reduction in wage. Oh, if they give him a new deal.
Yeah, if he goes beyond that year, why not? I guess I'm just saying, where is he going to play? You know, he's not athletic enough to go be a starter for some like big
good
team. I
mean, that's
so
true.
why not stay on?
Where would Maguire play? What, you say
why not stay
MLS
as
already?
depth here?
Everton. We go Everton.
Nobody's
He's a David Moyes guy.
He's got to play at the 3 at the back. Who plays 3 at the back? Not that many teams. He's got.
You're on mute.
Again,
oh, sorry. I keep turning it off to make it easier. So I don't have the echo in the background. I think he'll be made captain as well. Like wherever he goes, they'll just get the captain's armband if they're really loved by the manager. So yeah, like Everton. he's got leadership. Like we're kind of really realizing how important he's being for us in this dark period. And mentality, like this club's a breaker. Like it's not for the weak-hearted, you know. And he's definitely shown a mentality, you know, that we've desperately needed. And that's why, like, I really want these players to pick up that another cup, because it's that mentality of winning stuff at Man United that is essential. Like when we're talking about can we get past Tottenham, what we think about is, well, we know how to win in the big games that matter. We've won for the last 2 seasons. So I need that, man.
I agree. That's why I'd keep him. We need that. If we're signing all these young players, why not keep a guy who's got that mentality? If he takes a wage cut, like we need those leaders in the dressing room who are going to provide.
So if we went down to like a 80, if he said, "Listen,
why not?
80, give me a 2-year." Yeah, and Maguire's a sort of humble guy because he knows he's not going to go up from here. He'd definitely take it to stay at Man United. Yeah. But like Owen said, the World Cup is interesting because if he's going to be a bit part player, he might say if a Wolves come in or a Everton or a West Ham or a Crystal Palace. I don't know. if someone would come in and say you're going to play every game, he'd probably take that. So we'll see. United Talk says on Dorgu, look, I can't have the excuse he's 20 because Garnacho a better player. And look at the hate he gets. And Xerxes was new to the league. Booed at Old Trafford. We're going to get to that Dorgu Amas thing as well. United Talk, big up, bro. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that, about the age, what it means, what we've seen from Dorgu so far, how we're feeling about him. Yogura says, I remember when we were linked to Cunha in 22. I don't remember that. We linked him. What, before he went Wolves? And is that a Atletico? I don't remember being. Actually, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Ten Hag's first season when we were linked with everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone that got a transfer across Europe was linked to Manchester United at some point. We were the ultimate bargaining chip in that first summer. That was madness.
I do remember that, actually. First off, I didn't. I was like, actually, yeah, no, I do. All right, well, that's the Matheus Cunha thing. Everyone's saying bring. But that Mbeumo one, I know there's probably nothing there because, like you say, you want to get this one done. And I hear it. And he's ready-made for this system. But I wouldn't be mad thinking, why have we bought Mbeumo? Because he definitely doesn't fit this system. I think he's clever enough to figure that one out personally. I would love to get Brian Mbeumo for 10, 15 million pound cheaper, same age. But just got to change the conversion. But someone did say Cunha does seem like a Man United player, but they couldn't explain it. I do get that. He has a bit of aura, bitter bastard, bitter. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm the man. Like, he does have a bit of that, which United, What we saying about Shirky? You know what I mean? 25 M's. Why are we not trying to get him inside 10?
I would bring him in despite what he did against us.
I don't care about that. Yeah,
I'd bring him in easy. Like, I think there's a lot of clubs that will be going for him this in this up and coming window, and we saw some good things that we liked. Like, you just want. I just need Amrin to have options. If Amrin has options, then I think when it's time to do managerial blame and say, well, he should have done this, he should have got this from the game, it'll be fair. Like right now, I look at when you say, well, he needs to get more from the team or he should be winning these games. I'm like, with what though? You know what I mean? Like you look at the bench and say, those guys haven't scored in years. Like, they weren't even scoring under the guy that brought them to the club. I want the manager to be, I want the critique to be fair for like our manager. So bringing in a player like that.
It's a 25 million like market opportunity. Like, it's so low. If that is the release clause, that's true. It's like, just bring him and have a look. Just have a look, innit? Like, surely. But I suppose we ain't really got peas like that. We have to be careful. Every penny counts. I get it. But he looked good, man. He looked good. Smash the like, people, on the video. What we got now? Actually, I'm not on that page. What we got, Owen? Can you see?
316 Stone Cold Steve Austin settings.
I saw him drinking loads of. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. No.
You can. I tell you what. So first, he crashed his four-wheeler into ringside into a woman, and she's gonna sue. I swear to God, she went mental. She went mental. At the end, there was like the president of the company's going like, "Oh, you all right? How's this going?" Oh, it's hilarious.
He crashed into a woman. I saw him riding the thing. I didn't see
He went into a barricade, and there was a woman. She did the most dramatic, like, fall backwards.
She's gonna make money. That is all the money in the world.
Her neck gets more sore the less they offer her. I think, No. He might have been drunk whilst he was on his four-wheeler. He actually, when he came out, he missed the ramp initially. The ramp's like that big, and he missed it. He had to go back. It was. Oh
no, he's got to reverse it. Oh no.
Also, by the way, Flex, we have some breaking news from Fabrizio Romano, who's just tweeted in the last couple of seconds. To be fair, I could press the button. I haven't pressed the breaking news button.
Press it if it's real. If this is. Whoa.
Yes, Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted saying Manchester United are leading the race to sign Matheus Cunha from Wolves as negotiations are ongoing. Personal terms are being discussed as Man United are aware of more clubs keen, plus the £62.5 million release clause available. Good feelings after initial contacts between Cunha and MUFC. So, seemingly, I guess Romano is just co-signing what the Mail was saying earlier on by saying that thing that came up from the Mail, that's true. Yes, they are leading the race. And personal terms are being discussed. Look at that.
Well, I mean,
Fabrizio as per Romano.
I was going to say that's as per the Mail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Osman Bomber too as well. Because did he say they do want Osimhen, but they just need to see what's going on with Champions League. Was the other thing he
I,
said.
there was something, and
What's
and
that?
Andy,
What's that? Other
I saw,
bomber?
and I saw Andy Mitten. He basically alluded to that.
Yeah.
So we
Osimhen's
really
going
like
to
somebody
Osimhen.
who's paid an enormous amount
he's
of
on a lot of
money.
money,
Is that-
basically.
Yeah.
Bring
basically,
him in.
If we can get Champions League, I think.
It's
do
all
you know
about
what?
Champions League.
I think if we get Champions League, I think they find a way to get Osimhen. I do.
I think
do.
so too.
Guys,
Honestly, I
I'm
really
telling
do.
you, and remember that
Osimhen
thing
and
when he
Cunha.
says, remember that
Yeah.
conversation about
No, that would be
players,
serious.
like papering over the cracks and stuff, and the significance. When we talk about the difference and just the context and stuff, the significance of winning this thing is so different to the FA Cup. Like it's so different because the what happens after if we do, the players that you can attract, the moves that you can make this summer, and especially in football, there's just not a lot of strikers. There's just not a lot of I don't know where they've all gone. They used to be you could trail around and find a striker here, there, and everywhere. Now it's I feel like there's 5 or 6 quality strikers.
Strikers
Just
market.
5 or what is going on? You know what I mean? You're still seeing Lewandowski, Kane, and them lot at the top
man.
level. Then you're saying, who's the next top striker in the game?
Well, it's these young up and coming ones that we're waiting to see if they make it.
Isn't it?
Yeah, obviously Haaland. Yeah, but
We used to count 20 to 30 strikers.
Yeah.
Now you're so we're all going for the same targets. You know, we're what's that one that I love the way Owen used to say his name.
Benjamin Šeško.
Benjamin Šeško.
Yeah. We're still talking about him. And has he pushed on? Has he moved
Arsenal.
on?
Yeah, so are Arsenal talking about him as well. You know what I mean? A lot of people are. Yeah. There's a lot of exciting young strikers. You know, Ekitike has been linked for the last couple of years. Obviously, he was linked to Newcastle when I was doing Sky transfer window. All he was talking about was Ekitike, and he didn't come. And now it's looking like he's going to get a move this summer. So yes, these young Thuram's another one. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Lautaro, obviously he's older, but he's proper. So there's
Marmoush from City as well.
Yeah,
Marmoush before he signed for City.
He was, would you call him a striker, Marmoush, or is he
plays just off the front? To be fair,
yeah,
cool. Plays just off the front. To be fair, like TK as well. Yeah, interesting. Obviously, everyone's saying Fabrizio Bombo, Fabrizio, guys, Fabrizio. We've just spoke about it. If you're just locking in, you're just joining in. The breaking news, which we kind of started the show with this information from the Mail, to be fair. So it isn't really. I think people just like to see it from Romano because it does mean carries a bit of weight. He's not breaking something. It's not a shot. Yeah, it's just more real than
Tell you what, though, it comes across, though, if you look at that tweet, too, he says the conversations with the player, and I think important thing to note here, I honestly feel more likely that Cunha is joining right now than anybody else, even ahead of Delap, even though we've heard more about it. Yeah,
definitely.
Because I think Cunha wants it. He wants United. I think it's clear. He really wants to join Manchester United. I'm not sure we feel that way about anybody else we've been linked to yet. Delap's talking with Chelsea, on the regular, and they've got their journalists putting things out there. It feels like Cunha wants it, and it feels like that's what we've been making sure.
And it was kind of like us and us only. I read that Newcastle were interested, etc. There was other stuff going on, but he's just sold by this. And like what we do know on Liam Delap, Laurie has reported many times, and so has many others, that Delap's United's number one striker target. I think he probably is. I think he probably is in terms of where we currently sit now. But come May, the whatever Europa League final is, when is it? May 20 something? I don't know when it is. But come that day, if we've won that, they get back to the drawing board and they go, right, I tell you what, let's go to the A-list because we can look at how we get Osimhen, or we could maybe get a bigger money deal for Šeško because he's I don't know. If we ended up with Cunha and Osimhen,
that's different.
Ahmad, what are you saying? Cunha, Osimhen, Ahmad.
Bruno, I don't care.
It
doesn't matter, man. Just mix them up and you get goals out of that batch.
The level of Nigerian bias KG will bring if we sign Victor Osimhen. He'll do shows in full up Hill in a mask. He'll do the mask.
I do streams in a mask. And
it'll be fair play. You'd be entitled to.
Bro, oh my God.
Well, Flex wanted Sterling at United, so yeah.
People will have to get over this walking thing.
No, I wanted Leon Bailey.
They're gonna
And
have to
you
get
wanted
over this
Raheem
walking
Sterling.
thing.
You wanted Sterling as well. I'd be.
You wanted
I'd be
Sterling. Don't back out of that flex. He was.
I didn't want Sterling. I
Raheem
wanted.
Sterling.
I wanted.
Yes,
I
you
wanted.
did.
N'Golo
Yes, you
Kante
did.
is who I wanted.
And you
Guys.
wanted Raheem Sterling. Yes, you did.
Can
You
I-
even
I
did the whole
Can I ask
bring
a
him.
question?
I did.
But
Can I ask
listen,
you
they're
guys a
gonna have to
question
get over the
about a
walking
player?
thing real fast because Osimhen and Cunha, they're gonna be walking. It's gonna become a walker's front three. We're gonna have to be ready for that, and the fans are gonna have to get over it, man. They're gonna have to get over it.
Only if
They're
it
gonna
wins.
be
Only if
walking.
we win games. If we win games, they can walk all they want. If we win games and they're
Yeah.
effective and they're doing their effect, like the right type of walking at the right times, then yeah. If we're not though, then it's
Mhm.
effective, yeah, because they know when to play. They're playing in
Yeah.
bursts and stuff.
I agree with
I'm
you. I
cool with
agree.
that. But then,
Yeah.
would you
What
not
was you
think
saying,
of?
Pidgey?
I
You
wanted
said
to ask a question about Mason Mount, and
Mm.
he's kind of returning to fitness and playing a few more games without injury. Would you lot think, like, because he's got 5 games to prove himself to us as he's a Man United player. I don't think he'll ever be a Man United 7. But like, where you lot at with Mason Mount?
I'm one of the biggest supporters. Well, I was. Can't see it, mate. Can't see it.
Sell him.
I can't. Yeah.
Get gone. I don't think we can sell him, to be quite honest. But even if it's a
exactly.
loan, I would loan him out.
Yeah.
Because I like use whatever you can to scrape together the money, because that's where I'm at with so many players like that. I don't care if we're just getting 150,000 a week off and he's on a loan and we still have him. I don't care. Free up the number 7 and get the money in so we can spend it somewhere else. I've had high hopes for him, but I've given up.
I'm with James. I had a lot of high hopes. I even thought after the first couple of big injuries, I thought, nah, listen, man, you talk about people, in their best form, being ready for this formation. He is that, like the prime Mason Mount, which we saw for a couple of years at Chelsea. That version of Mason Mount would ball out in this Man United team. But I have to be real with what I've seen and what he now is. It doesn't. Listen, I will happily eat words next year if, like, wow, I just couldn't see him being this fit and couldn't see fair play, because that's what it would be from everyone. The general consensus is, nah, can't see it. Because even before we get to find out, I just think he'll get another injury. That's my thing.
Let's be honest with it as well.
Cool
Chelsea with that deal
though.
Pulled a blinder. £55 million of pure profit plus 5 with 1 year left of his contract. And he had injuries towards the end of his Chelsea tenure, not to the level that we've seen now.
No, but that was a lot.
But you can tell of him, and I always go back to an interview that Michael Owen did several years ago when he was talking about injuries. And he said, well, if you have them that often, basically then you start sort of protecting yourself on the pitch where you go like, I know I could sprint here, but my brain's telling me, but I don't know if my body can handle this. And we're at the stage now where we're Mason Mount. Like you said, Flex, we know over the next 6 months he will get injured again, and then eventually you almost have to stop blaming him and start blaming yourself. Going, well, why are we putting up with this then? How have we got ourselves in this position? And I agree with James in the sense that we're not going to be able to sell him. The book value is too high. But if you wanted to say to him, a bit like Maguire with the Thomas Tuchel thing, hey, go out on loan, get some game time and just prove yourself, and then maybe you might get in the World Cup squad, because unfortunately we just can't afford to take that risk and play you every single week, and you're going to be stop-start, and for you physically that might not be the best thing. He just needs to play football and try to stay fit, but that shouldn't. I don't think Man United can afford to take that risk next season, and for the money's on $250 a week. That's just
a lot, man. It's a lot.
Bad sign, isn't it? It's a bad sign.
It's a disaster. It's been a disastrous signing. It's one of our worst ever. It is.
It could be
one of our.
How many games
could actually be the worst ever.
How many games has he played for Man United since he's been here?
Not a lot.
That'd be interesting to know, like, how bad a move it's been. But bloody hell, like, it just feels like it hasn't worked. Now, if he goes and scores for us in the Europa League final or something, or gets us
39 appearances, that's according to the Man United website. I saw a thing the other day saying Mazraoui's already got 50 for us. I couldn't believe that. Yeah. Mazraoui on 50. By the way, he came this summer. He's got more appearances than Mason Mount over 2 seasons.
That's
38. Mason Mount on World Transfer Market says 38 games, 1 goal, 1 assist.
Jesus, for how much?
And that 1 goal was the Brentford one. Number 7, 55 million plus 5. Yeah.
And the other assist, was it a corner against Palace, I want to say?
can't remember.
I think it was.
That is actually horrible.
No, it was
That's
a late.
horrible.
He had a late game. Was it Brentford? He drew us back.
Yeah, he got
Gave
the
us the
goal
lead, and
then
then we conceded it
straight
anyway.
after. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean the assist. I remember the
Oh,
goal,
yeah,
but the
sorry.
assist. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it's damning.
That
So
is
damning.
fair,
I don't
horrid.
feel like it's worth us like trying to work.
He was
out
a good
what-
set piece player at Chelsea, and he's never taken our
Yeah.
set pieces, which is kind of an odd one. Like that's where most of his assists were back in the day.
Oh, man, Mason Mount, what has happened to
Weird
you, bro?
club.
What has happened? Yeah, I don't know what has happened. There's a couple of super chats here as well. Oh, let's get back there. Hold on, wait a minute. I think INEOS Dorgu. I remember linked to. Right. Not that oath. Says I think INEOS want Cunha and Delap confirmed ASAP because that's our net transfer budget for the summer. The rest
That's
of the
true.
window will be based on outgoings. Yeah, because they can afford that now with what we got. That's
We can
what
do
we've
it.
got.
Yeah,
We
line
can
it
do
up.
it.
Get it ready. Get it ready.
Just get that 62.5 million and 30 million. There you go. Best part of 90 to 100 million is what we got there, ready to spend. Then we need to see what goes on with Rashford, 40 million. Anthony,
Malacia.
35, 40 million. Malacia, they said they're sending him back. I saw.
Yeah, so
read
we need
that.
to sell him.
So got to sell him. That's a light 10 or something shit like that. Who else could we sell this summer? See what happens with Garnacho, 40 to 50.
Anthony,
Højlund.
Sancho.
Said Anthony, Sancho 25, Højlund, whatever you get for him.
The thing I think is
You think they're going to sell Højlund?
I don't think we could sell him either. We got to loan him out. He can be only loaned, But I want to mention that, by the way, I'm pretty positive that budget, 80, 90 million, that's already counting on Sancho being gone. That's already counting on Rashford being gone. And that's already counting on, Anthony and Malacia going on loan. I'm fairly sure of that, by the way, because of the numbers.
It already includes that. Also.
Yeah,
If it already includes that, that's even worse.
We need Champions League or more to sell to get
Like
more in the
Garnacho.
door. Yeah,
Like a
we
Garnacho
do.
kind of thing.
That's why
Yeah.
it keeps coming up. Kobbie Mainoo's not going anywhere, though. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Kobbie Mainoo's not going.
Yeah, what are you saying, James?
He's getting a new contract.
Wait.
I've
James,
said
hold
this
on,
since
wait a
the
minute.
beginning. Since the beginning, I've
Hold
said
on,
this.
wait a minute. Hold on.
Listen.
Everybody,
He's had
he's had
at
talk to us,
least
James. What are you saying?
he's had at least 4 meetings in like the last month with Omar Barada and them to get this contract sorted out. Like there's always a chance you go through all of that and you don't agree. But you don't do all of that if you want to leave. And it's not like he's on an expiring contract. He's got 2 more years after this. Why would they, they're not meeting with him and making offers, and he's not meeting with them and having discussions if the parties are looking to separate. And you don't do that with his age, when they both want him to stay, because you're not trying to lose players you want to keep. You're trying to lose players you don't want to keep at this stage in a rebuild. Everybody wants it. So I think it's like new contract is very likely, stays without a new contract is less likely, and then all the way down here is a sale. And I just think based on everything, the odds are extremely low. They're talking, they want it to happen. I never see players leave when that kind of situation is ongoing. Sometimes you get a lot of noise, you get a lot of mess. I mean, even Cunha, who we're talking about, there was talk about him leaving in January, but they ended up agreeing a new contract. Like this stuff is normal. We don't sell players we want to keep. It's never been the way at United to do that. And I don't think we can, even with all the difficulties and everything, we're not selling players we want to keep. We're going to sell the ones we don't want to keep, and there's a lot more of those.
American Owen is right.
That's crazy.
How very racist. How
That's
very racist.
racism. That's racism, bro.
Yeah.
That's just caught behind it. That's crazy. KG, I know you had serious reservations about the Kobbie thing. I remember you was like, nah, man.
I was scared, man.
Has James done a lot to calm you down there? Do you like what's going on
because James is in the know, man. James is actually in the know. I've seen this guy pre-season, bro. If James says that, listen. Basically, they like it. James is cool. He's a good source. Marketeers, bro. You lot go and make sure you follow them on X right now.
Yep. Facts. All facts. Super chats. INEOS, that was what I said that one. Zelda says we need to sack Amorim. Wow. Straight up. Not the guy. Want to sack him. I asked the community this morning. I don't know if I just thought I didn't even do a poll because I was like, I don't even want a poll for this, man. I just thought let me just ask the question in the community to see with the yeses and the nos. And if I did do a poll, I reckon it would have been like 60-40?
How dare you, Fleck? How dare you? How dare you use your channel to run an agenda? How dare you, nasty word?
How dare you use it as a chance to take everybody's point of view?
Flex, I'm unsubscribing. I'm unsubscribing, and I'm not coming back until your next stream. And I'll tell you I'm unsubscribing again.
Dwayne says Omar and on the move, about time. Quawu says, Uncle KG, I'm back for you. I want problems. What's problems? What kind of problems?
Listen now. That's
you don't want no problems. You problems, yeah.
That's just probably how my channel operates. To be honest, there was a lot of the vibes was crazy.
How was your show this morning? Was there progress? Did they say there was progress? What happened to you? Did you get cooked? What?
No, I didn't get cooked. It was a war.
Was you saying there was, and you telling them shut up? There is.
No, I told them no. I told them marginal. I said marginal gains. Like, what's our new guy? What's his name?
Dave Brailsford.
Yeah,
marginal gains. I said marginal gains.
KG, that is crazy. That is crazy.
What's that?
Marginal gains. You went down the marginal gains route. You went to Dave Brailsford.
I think he's right.
I'm saying our gains have been marginal. Our gains have been marginal, and we're just in the European League semi-final. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. James is co-signing that one too.
But people are saying we're blindly backing another manager, and we're gonna be it's feeling Ten Hag-ish.
Well, I said that this is what we got in the argument about yesterday, wasn't it? Over that super chat when someone put a super chat and said Amarim coached a 3-0 game and the players didn't execute. And I said we just have to be very careful going down that route again, because we heard that a lot under Ten Hag, didn't we? We lost today, but it wasn't Ten Hag's fault. His game plan was perfect, but the players couldn't execute it. And
who said that last
at the time? Honestly, the amount of times we heard that, and it is just, I see similar mistakes there from an expectation point of view from the fans, and we just have to acknowledge that it's never on one particular party. It's not all on the coach, but it's also not all on the players. There has to be a level of percentage of accountability all around. You cannot be the manager, head coach of Manchester United, lose games, and then basically them go, that's entirely not your fault. Because that's how we end up with the weird, like when we won the FA Cup and Ten Hag stayed, we won kind of stuff, when I don't feel much like a winner at the moment. Do you? So we didn't win. You know what I mean? We have to have that level of accountability, you know. And
don't you think we put like the managers on a pedestal too much as United fans because of Sir Alex, right?
Well, and also I think it's the antithesis of Player FC, right? We've lived Player FC for a decade. Now we don't like Player FC. So we've gone so far in the opposite direction where we become Manager FC, and we idolize and we sort of go, well, they can do no wrong. Whereas, of course, they're going to do wrong. And it's okay to point out when they do wrong. And it's also okay to point out when they do right. That's facts of life, you know. So, but also when we do criticize a manager, you don't have to get your back up and get all defensive and be like, no, you can't say that about the manager. Of course you can. Of course you can say they make mistakes.
The only thing with backing a manager is the slip slide of when you don't, and then how a player is viewed. I'll never forget the Bruno slip slide. It was one of the most interesting ones where everyone cussed him, and said he's just Penandes, this, that, and the other. And it just stuck. And then now he's just rubbish. You know, now people are kind of seeing the value. It's almost like you have to fight back diligently or things just stick. Like today I was on a show, and I was listening to Mandem say, Anthony's a good player. Man United are just rubbish. Do you know what they were saying about Anthony?
What, they said that on your channel?
I was on the Filthy Fellas, bro. I was on the Filthy Fellas, bro.
Oh, they would, Filthy, they would have been gunning Anthony.
Bro, when I said, I goes, this is what happens, though. This is what happened. Like, you will do these things, and if not pushback, if the pushback's not good enough, it sticks, and it's harder one to get rid of. You know, so we have to be.
KG. That's with Ops, though. I'm talking within the Man United fan base.
I think some of it comes from us. Some of it comes from us. Like I believe Alejandro Garnacho has more nicknames from Man United fans than from Ops. Personally, you know what I mean? Like we got to watch him every week. You know? A lot of it is us facing. Is us facing. You know, so we just have to like. There's something that has to be done there, you know, in that journey and stuff. So some people want to back the manager because the other side gets so loud, and they almost become the majority, especially in the loss. You saw how the chat changed when we was about to get crushed out by Leon. Oh my goodness! And you look at it and you think, bro, look at the chat right now. Then it flips, and all of a sudden it's okay again.
I think my point is you can back the manager whilst also being honest about the manager. You don't have to get into that territory where you just do not want to have the conversation of, did he make a mistake by not doing this today? Or was the setup maybe, should he be doing that a little bit better? Or are we really improving as much as maybe you thought we were going to be improving? We should be able to have that conversation while also going, I don't want him to lose his job. It's kind of mad, actually, that when you have a critical conversation of someone,
is there a middle ground with Man United?
You have to preface it by saying, I don't want them to leave or lose their job.
Made a good point too on that criticism though, because he said, look, what options? Like I'll give that exact example because you're talking about the Lyon game at like 90 minutes when I was watching along that one, my chat was exploding 2-2. Amorim, you're shit. Amorim, get out of here, you fraud. And I'm saying, hold on a second, like. Here's the question, though, because someone kept bringing it up. They said he's picking the players. He's doing this. Well, and I asked him, who could he have picked? Who else could he have picked in his game? Who else could he have picked? Literally, who else could he pick? And the suggestions by India, how the fuck's that going to? Sorry, how's that going to make a difference? You know, Kukonki never played, 16 years old, and I'm like, and in that same person, that was their suggestions, and I'm thinking. The problem is it's not specific. Like the specifics of the criticism need to be there, not this general, you know, we get into so much of like Twitter type of, you know, debate about things where there's no specifics.
There's that thing of him playing 7 defensive players, and that's he just plays defensive. And that is something that was said before, and it's kind of rumbled on, and now it's just the facts. But then he asked the people, well, them 7 defensive players, what attacking players should he play? Absolutely silent.
It is also funny when they say, like, we've got better defensively. And you go, well, if we're playing that many defensive players, we probably should get better defensively, shouldn't we?
I hear that.
And then you talk about the marginal gains. You go, like, this is what we were talking about yesterday. We face less. We face less. Let me finish, Kate. We have less shots. We face less shots, but we concede a similar amount of goals. So, what is your judgment on getting better defensively?
I hear you when you say that. But then the only issue is when we talk about like errors, massive errors, blunders leading to goals, we can't deny our goalkeeper's been on a mad thing this year. Like we cannot deny that. We cannot deny that we chance-wise. We've created as many. What's that Nottingham Forest stat? Or we created as many as Nottingham Forest, and we just not scored close to this. You know what I mean?
Although,
so it's that
the answer to that is that's still not loads, by the way, because Forest are actually shockingly low in chance creation. For
still, Forest have done their job, in the attacking element, and we just haven't done ours, and we've been like this for a significant amount of time. And even the last thing, context-wise, is us having one striker. I say this every stream. Us having one striker at big Man United is incredible. Never been done before. That's just we talk about when something wrong that is happened from the top and it's gone through the club. That is mental. Even in the years of Falcao and all these other ones, 20 years old. What? At United? Oh my God. I can't see. It's not like any other season you'd ever imagine. But in any other season ever imagined, we never just have one.
But that's when I get into the stuff when it goes to that really quickly that's when you go, okay, like that is a valid reason and a valid excuse, but that also doesn't mean you can't still critique the manager. You know what I mean? So when you bring up those things, which is absolutely right, for the last 3 or 4 seasons, only one striker, and we haven't scored goals actually for a long period of time now. But as a coach, these are also the things that you inherited and you knew coming through the door. So yes, you can say, well, it's partially a reason and what have you, but it also doesn't mean you get a blank slate of, well, everything. Then if we lose, it doesn't matter because we don't have a striker. And that's those kind of, again, I think
Well, I don't know how I would change. I don't know what you would.
You know
ask
how?
me. Like,
I'll show you how.
That's the
Here's the
coach's
thing.
job.
Here's
That's the coach's job to find out solutions.
This is what I'm talking about. The coach's job. I saw a stat today that just stuck out to me. It's not even a Man United stat. It's a Wolves stat. I went raw. Here's a stat for you. Yeah, under Gary O'Neill. Yeah, 16 Premier League games. Yeah, they scored 24 goals in 16 matches. Yeah, they conceded 40. Versus Pereira, who's come in, he's played 17 league games. He scored exactly the same amount of goals, 24. The same as Gary O'Neill in the same period, 16/17 games, right? They both scored 24 goals. But the reason why they got more points, which was 9 versus 29 points respectively, was because Pereira conceded only 21 goals instead of 40 in the same time frame. So the fact that Wolves didn't start scoring more goals. There's a perception that they got so much better. Strand Larsen's doing all this stuff. Cunha, this, that, and the other. Bella got whatever in the 10. Oh, yeah, great. They've scored exactly the same amount of goals in this resurgence where we're saying, how can Vitor Pereira come here and do amazing? In this same resurgence, they've scored the same goals in 16 games with Gary O'Neill as they did with 16/17 games with Vitor Pereira. But they conceded half the amount of goals. And their XG, though, even though they scored the same amount of goals, if you're into XG, went up from 17 to 21. Like, so it proves that we can't score, but if the defense was as good as we said it was, or it doesn't concede as much, then you could just cut down the amount you concede and nick games. But then
here's a crazy one for that stat. Let me just look. Wolves in that same exact stretch, because I was just looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy how much it matches. 19 expected goals for, 23.7 expected goals against. You know what ours are in that time? 19 expected goals for, 23.9 expected goals against. But there's a difference of 7 points between the two sides. We conceded 22. They conceded 21. I mean, the numbers aren't even different.
They're kind of
almost
the same,
like the same, but they've got a lot more points. You know,
so that would be what you say. That's the clinical nature in that moment to get that win or to not lose that football match.
Yeah. We're throwing away the close ones, essentially. The ones that they're
Spurs
just
losing
picking
already.
a few points up.
Bloody hell.
I hope they get knocked out by Bodo Glimt. You know, I do not
that would be
imagine.
I just don't want to see them. I do not want to see them.
I'll be honest. If we lose to Postecoglou in a final, I think that it's going to change.
Would Ruben get sacked for that? Would Ruben get wait there.
But in the fan base, it would be nasty.
I had that epiphany, 100%. But I said today on the show, I said to Abby, I goes, I need to talk on this show because I said I say a lot of things about Spurs.
I've got to get out of here. Sorry, you
and it's like, we're finishing on Spurs. To be fair, big up. All right, latest man. It's undefeated. Obviously, Ben Whittaker settings and that. And I went, if we lose a final to Spurs, I'd have to get on a plane. That would be too much. Seriously, man. I know Bodo Glimt are decent. I get it, but I don't know. I think Spurs will get it done. I think they'll get it done.
I did this analogy the other day after the Lyon one. I wouldn't get sacked or anything, but it would be a sticking point, I think, for a lot of people. In the same way, had we gone out to Lyon, the manner of which we'd have gone out, like 2-0 up, down to 10 men, capitulating, he wouldn't have lost his job. But a bit like Ten Hag and 7-0 at Anfield, people would always circle back to that and go, lost a bit of faith that day. I did. And I just never knew if we were going to be able to recover from it. And that might be the same. Like that might be. If anything, I'm actually a bit worried that we're not almost ourselves prepared for what the feeling could be if we don't win the Europa League this season.
It's crazy, isn't it? Though, but like,
really bad.
What if we make the final and we don't win? Like, does that 90 minutes? This was the point about Ten Hag staying, right? The 90 minutes against City shouldn't have kept him in the job, but like it shouldn't change our minds that much. You know, that 90 minutes of what happens, it shouldn't, right? We should be prepared.
I agree that no matter what happens, Ruben should get to the summer and get his players no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Whether we finish 17th with no Europa League or whether we finish 14th with a Europa League. Like he needs to get to some of his players. But of course, when we say these things, and I hold my hands up to it all the time. I'm not going to get angry today. I know we could lose this game, but then you see it, you feel it, you experience it, and then all this other stuff starts happening. You go, wait, yeah, is this going to get better? Wait, this could be, and you start panicking. And you're right, you have to stick to the script, even because that level of like shock, yeah, like we probably will finish 17th. Like we probably will. Because I'm looking at Bournemouth away, Brentford away, Chelsea away, and I'm like, nah.
And we've already kind of given up on it too, you know.
Yeah.
Given up on it
Villa at
already.
home.
And then Villa at home last day of the season, they probably need to win that or keep, making sure they get the top 5.
Yeah.
Forget that. And West Ham are just as shit as us. Probably draw that game at home. So it's like, I can't see how we're going
to. But we'll see.
Tottenham, they got some difficult games as well. I don't know. We could legit finish 17th. And it's like, Matheus said to me on the stream today, he was like, the Chelsea thing, 12th, and that's rightly so. But 17th, 2 places above the rele. He says the cooking. I'm like, you can't cook me anymore. But he's like, no, 17th. And it's like, when we see that number and the season is all done, even though we knew it would happen, it is going to hit different. That week or so of just being the 17th, it will hit different. And we will have to all stick together, all huddle around and just say, listen, we're going to just let it all bounce off because it's going to be embarrassing. Let's get these super chats out before we finish off. Always says Trincao from Sporting is one of Ruben's main men. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Duane says Mount is physically shot. Those injuries, man. Yeah. And MT says, do you guys rate Kobbie Mainoo's technical ability on the 10? I feel he would have placed one of the 3 or 4 chances Mount and Bruno had last game. Yeah, I had reservations about Kobbie in a 10 for a long time, but clearly in this system, it's going to be his best position. It's going to be his best position. Ketchadil says, what happens if players on big deals refuse to go? Then they stay and they get their way. That's what usually happens. Ronnie Dodge says, Cunha Instagram drama is my only worry for me. I think there'll be talks. There'll be things like, listen, I know you did some stuff at Wolves and stuff. Here, it's a big club, bro. This is a different beast. And I think he will know that. I don't think he's going to try and come and do a madness. United Talk says, KG, Cunha, Osman title or top 4 race. KG is gone. But he would have said title race, definitely. Tell says, why another striker who can't bag goals? Well, he's a 10 who gives you 15 goals, which is what you want from your 10s. So, I'm here for that. Christian says, KG created the chaos and then sat back with his Waitrose sweet and salty popcorn. I said, that's what he did on his stream today. He kept that out. And Zelda says, KG, you need to explain these gains. Where are they?
He ran away with all the super chats asking all the questions.
He's like, yeah, I need to go. Dwayne says, big Sam on interim. These guys love sitting on the back foot. We would be in the top 10 if Erik ten Hag got sacked at the end. The sacking was too late. Yeah, I hear that. I do think that if we would have kept Erik ten Hag just because the familiarity of the system, and they would have scammed more wins than this. Definitely. Which doesn't mean Eric was the answer. We shouldn't got rid of him, but I hear it. Like bringing in Ruben at this point and having to change everything meant we were going to have to get worse before we could get better. Guys, big up. Go watch the Tottenham game. Go laugh at Tottenham. I don't know. Let's see if they come back or not. Who cares in the league? They're doing what we're doing. It's all about Thursdays. Yeah. So it's not even really laugh. It's not even really that. So big shout out to James. Make sure you subscribe to the Muppeteers doing great work. What are you at, James? You on like 20-something K?
Almost 23. We're getting close to 23 or 24.
Let's get James up to that 25K. There you go. Let's get him there. Owen Russell needs 365.
Almost 25, actually.
Need 25. So there you go. Make that 25, man. Go show some love on James's channel. Owen, you're on 21.
21 on the road to 25. Recently hit 20. Now over 21K. I'll be live again tonight. Raw after WrestleMania. I'm really, really tired. I haven't slept for like 4 days.
He's really, really tired.
I'm really, really tired. I'm really, really tired. I'm on like Pacific time at the moment. This is madness.
Yes. Yeah. So Owen won't be on the morning view tomorrow. I won't. I will be on the morning view tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then. Maybe pre-record, maybe live. Who knows? I'll see you guys then. I'm out of here. Take care. Peace.